All right, guys, let's talk about a plane that needs no introduction, but we're going to give it one anyway. I'm talking about the Airbus A380, the jumbo jet that made other jumbo jets look like toy planes. When this thing was first announced, the whole world, and I mean the world, went nuts. It was like the iPhone moment for aviation. Everyone was hyped. And for good reason, this thing was massive, it was powerful, and it was the future of flying. Now, the future is a tricky beast, right? But the impact of the A380? That's undeniable. We're talking about a plane that can carry over 800 passengers. That's like a small town taking to the skies. So buckle up, because in this video, we're gonna dive deep into the world of the A380, unearthing some facts that'll make you want to book a ticket on this flying behemoth immediately. First up, let's address the elephant in the room, or should I say the A380 in the hangar. This thing is massive, like seriously huge. It's the biggest passenger plane on the planet, and it's not even close. Think about your average plane, right? Now, imagine a plane with 2 full decks stretching the entire length of the fuselage. That's the A380. You could fit a regulation basketball court inside this thing with room to spare. But here's the thing, it's not just about size. It's about what you do with it. And Airbus, they knew exactly what they were doing. They didn't just build a bigger plane, they built a more comfortable, more luxurious, more awe-inspiring way to fly. Now, building a plane this big, it came with its own set of challenges. Airports, they had to step up their game. Runways had to be extended, taxiways widened, and don't even get me started on the terminals. Imagine having to accommodate 800 passengers all at once. That's like a whole movie premiere disembarking into the arrivals hall. New gates, new baggage systems, the whole 9 yards. Airports had to adapt. But you know what? They did it. Because the A380, it wasn't just a plane, it was a statement. It was a sign that the future of air travel was here, and it was big. All right, so we've established that the A380 is big, but how big are we talking here? Well, let's bring in the competition, shall we? The Boeing 747, the original jumbo jet, the queen of the skies. The 747, it's a legend, no doubt about it. But even the queen has to bow down to the king. The A380 has a whopping 40% more usable space than the 747. 40%. That's like adding an entire extra floor to your house. We're talking about more legroom, more overhead bin space, more everything. You could practically do cartwheels down the aisle. Not that I'm recommending that. Safety first, people. And it's not just about quantity, it's about quality. Airlines, they went all out with the A380. We're talking private suites, full-size beds, showers at 30,000 feet. This isn't just flying, it's an experience. It's like stepping into a 5-star hotel. But instead of a view of the city, you've got a view of the clouds. And let's be honest, the cloud view is way cooler. So, next time you're booking a flight, do yourself a favor and check if there's an A380 option. Trust me, your weary traveler soul will thank you. All right, so we've talked about how massive this thing is, how it makes airports upgrade, how it dwarfs the 747, but how many people can you actually cram into this flying beast? Buckle up, because this is where things get really wild. We're not talking about your average cramped airplane seats here. Depending on how the airline sets it up, an A380 can carry anywhere from 525 to 853 passengers. That's right, 853. That's like a small town taking to the skies. Imagine that, being on a plane with over 800 other people. It'd be like a flying festival. Think of the lines for the bathroom, the potential for lost luggage, the sheer chaos of it all. It's mind-blowing. But hey, at least you'd have plenty of legroom, right? I mean, they wouldn't cram all those people in there without giving them some space to breathe. Now, 525 to 853 is a pretty big range, right? That's because airlines can configure the A380's interior in a bunch of different ways. Some airlines are all about cramming as many people as possible into economy class, like a flying sardine can. Others, the fancy ones, they go all out with luxurious first-class suites, business-class lounges, even showers on board. I mean, we're talking full-on flying palaces here. Can you imagine kicking back in your own private suite at 30,000 feet, sipping champagne, enjoying a 5-star meal, while the rest of us are stuck back in economy with our knees jammed into our chests? Talk about a first-class problem. But hey, a guy can dream, right? All right, so we know the A380 is huge. It carries a ridiculous amount of people. But how far can this thing actually fly? We're talking about a total flying range of 15,200 kilometers. That's like flying from New York to Sydney without stopping. But seriously, the A380's range is incredible. It's used to service some of the longest non-stop flights in the world. Now, I don't know about you, but I can barely handle a 6-hour flight without getting restless. I can't even imagine being stuck on a plane for 17 hours. That's like a full day of your life spent in the air. But hey, I guess if you're flying in style, it wouldn't be so bad, right? Imagine lounging in your first-class suite, sipping champagne, watching movies, maybe even getting a massage. Suddenly, a 17-hour flight doesn't sound so bad. But for us mere mortals stuck in economy, it's a different story. I can already picture it now. Cramped seats, crying babies, terrible airplane food. It's enough to make you want to just stay home. But hey, at least you'd have a good story to tell when you finally landed, right? And you could impress all your friends with your newfound knowledge of the A380's impressive range. All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about the A380's size, its capacity, its range. But which airline out there actually loves this plane the most? Which airline has gone all in on the double-decker dream? Drumroll, please. It's Emirates. That's right, the airline based in Dubai, known for its luxurious flights and over-the-top amenities, has a serious thing for the A380. And when I say serious, I mean serious. They have a whopping 94 A380s in their fleet with another 12 on order. That's more than any other airline in the world. They're so obsessed with this plane that they send 9 A380 flights from Dubai to London every single day. That's right, 9. It's like they're trying to create an air bridge between the two cities. Now, I've never flown Emirates myself, but I've heard stories, legends really, about their incredible service, their spacious cabins, their gourmet meals, and apparently their A380s are the crown jewel of their fleet. We're talking showers on board, private suites with full beds, even a dedicated lounge area where you can socialize with other passengers. It's basically a flying 5-star hotel. I mean, can you imagine being able to freshen up with a shower after a long flight? Or stretching out in a real bed instead of being crammed into an economy seat? It sounds like a dream come true. But hey, all that luxury comes at a price, right? We're talking thousands of dollars for a single ticket. So unless you've got a few extra zeros in your bank account, you might have to stick to admiring the Emirates A380 from afar. But hey, a guy can dream, right? All right, so we've seen how massive this plane is, how many people it can carry, how far it can fly, and how much it costs. But have you ever wondered who was the first airline brave enough to take on this beast? Well, that honor goes to none other than Singapore Airlines. They were the pioneers, the trailblazers, the first to say, we're going to give this whole double-decker plane thing a shot. All eyes were on them, the world watching, waiting to see if this whole A380 idea was going to take off. And you know what? Singapore Airlines nailed it. Now, putting an A380 into service wasn't as simple as just buying a new plane. I mean, imagine the logistics. Airports had to be upgraded, new training programs had to be put in place for pilots and crew. And don't even get me started on the ground handling. It was a massive undertaking, a huge gamble for Singapore Airlines. But they were confident in the A380, and they were confident in their ability to pull it off. They saw the future of aviation, and they weren't afraid to be at the forefront. And you know what? It paid off. The A380 became a flagship aircraft for Singapore Airlines, a symbol of their commitment to innovation and passenger experience. It set them apart from the competition, made them stand out in a crowded market. So next time you see that massive double-decker plane soaring through the sky, remember Singapore Airlines, the airline that was bold enough to be the first. Picture this. You're at the airport, sitting in your plane, ready for takeoff. You're all buckled up, excited to get to your destination. But then, the pilot says, We're holding short of the runway due to wake turbulence. And you look out the window, and what do you see? An Airbus A380 lifting off like it owns the place. You're going to be stuck on the ground for a while. We're talking about a significant delay here. The standard waiting time after an A380 takeoff is up to 3 minutes. It can feel like an eternity. Every second feels like a minute. But hey, safety first, right? I'd rather wait a few extra minutes on the ground. So, the next time you're stuck on the tarmac, remember, it's all in the name of safety. We've talked about the A380's size, its weight, its capacity, but let's talk about its wingspan for a second. Because, let me tell you, this thing's wings are in a league of their own. We're talking 79.75 meters from tip to tip. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's a lot of meters. But how much is that really? Well, let me put it this way. Imagine 9 London double-decker buses parked end to end. That's right, 9. That's the equivalent of the A380's wingspan. It's mind-boggling, right? It's hard to even comprehend that something that massive can actually fly. But here's the thing. Those massive wings aren't just for show. They're a critical part of what makes the A380 such an impressive feat of engineering. You see, the larger the wingspan, the more lift an aircraft generates. And more lift means more efficiency, especially on those long-haul flights. Think about it. The A380 is designed to carry hundreds of passengers and tons of cargo over incredibly long distances. It needs all the lift it can get to stay airborne for that long. And that's where those massive wings come in. They're like giant sails, catching the air and using it to propel the plane forward. It's a delicate balance of aerodynamics, weight distribution, and engine power, and the A380's wings are at the heart of it all. So next time you see an A380 in flight, take a moment to appreciate those incredible wings. They're a testament to human ingenuity, a symbol of our ability to push the boundaries of what's possible in aviation. Okay, so we've talked about how massive this thing is, how many people it can carry, how far it can fly. But none of that really matters until you talk about the price tag. And let me tell you, this thing is not cheap. We're talking about a plane that costs, get this, $428 million. That's million with an M. That's like enough money to buy a small island, maybe a big island. I don't know about you, but I'm starting to think my bank account is not quite ready for the A380 shopping spree. But hey, a person can dream, right? Now, you might be thinking, 428 million bucks for a plane, are they out of their minds? And yeah, it's a mind-boggling amount of money. But here's the thing. Airlines aren't just buying a plane, they're buying efficiency. Think about it. More passengers, longer flights. That's a whole lot of potential revenue. Plus, the A380 is designed to last. These things are built like tanks. And with regular maintenance, they can fly for decades. So maybe, just maybe, it's not such a bad investment after all. But still, if you're ever lucky enough to fly on one of these bad boys, just remember the price tag and maybe treat it with a little extra respect. All right, so we all know that airplanes need a fresh coat of paint every now and then. But when you're dealing with a plane the size of the A380, we're not talking about a weekend project with a couple of cans of Rust-Oleum. This is a massive undertaking. It takes a team of 34 people working around the clock for 15 days to repaint one of these behemoths. That's like a full-on construction project. Except instead of building a house, they're painting a plane. And it's not just about slapping on a new coat of paint either. We're talking about meticulous detail work. Every single square inch of that plane has to be prepped, primed, and painted to perfection. They've got teams of people working on the fuselage, the wings, the tail, you name it. And they're not just using any old paint either. This is high-grade aviation quality stuff that's designed to withstand extreme temperatures, high speeds, and all sorts of crazy weather conditions. So the next time you see a gleaming A380 taxiing down the runway, take a moment to appreciate the sheer amount of work that went into making it look that good. It's truly a work of art. So there you have it, a few things you might not have known about the Airbus A380. This plane is a testament to human ingenuity, a marvel of engineering, and just a really, really big plane. Have you ever flown on an A380? What did you think? Let me know in the comments. And if you're as fascinated by aviation as I am, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. Until next time, keep your eyes on the skies.